Hey guys, hope you're having a brilliant day. Hope everything is well. Welcome to the weekly recap based on a trade I took on EURUSD. I was in it for about a good few weeks, and I just wanted to give you the full process on how I managed to align DXY and EURUSD, and just give you a little bit more clarity and understanding of the type of price concepts I utilize in trying to take the most effective trade possible. And it should be a little bit insightful for you guys. And in front of you at the moment, this is a chart which I dropped to my group last week, actually, in regards to DXY longs. I was looking at dollar strength last week for many reasons. First and foremost, as you can see, that this was the last bullish candle, which raided this significant low. We had a break here in MS, and price managed to create this key demand zone, this down candle prior to the up move. Price managed to find resistance at this daily supply zone, push price down, and then it had a bit of aggressive reaction off this particular demand zone, this down candle prior to the up move, bullish order block. We've broken MS to the upside after price closed above with a candle close, signifying an effective higher high in the structure, and managed to find key support of that demand zone. And as price rallied to the upside, we managed to have another MS break towards the upside, which was actually a weekly. This was actually a weekly/monthly MS break, and it came back into where this weekly demand zone. This was the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. So price broke above, retested that particular zone. So we had multiple rejections of this particular price zone due to the fact of you have this breaker over here. You have this breaker over here, where if I drag the little thing just across, it dipped into that small level and accumulated in price right before the distribution towards the upside. Found resistance of this last bullish candle, pushed price lower. Price managed to create it didn't manage to create a high. From here it did to a certain degree, created a high, came back into a key demand zone. As soon as I saw price raid this significant liquidity low on a daily, I knew the stops are resting above. So that's why I marked out the level of 98,385, and then you have the level of 98,600, 98,700. Those were my price targets in looking at where the liquidity was, where is smart money based, and also just looking at the confluences in looking at price dynamics in when price came back into this down candle prior to the up move, bullish order block. This down candle prior to the up move was a key level of support for me of this significant demand zone. We had an aggressive reaction up. I didn't think this order block would hold significantly due to the fact that when you want to see, for example, particular price levels hold, especially with the order flow structure of price, when you want to see structural high highs and higher lows, you want to see these bullish blocks respected, these key demand zones being respected. So price dipped into this zone, and I was expecting price to take out liquidity above amongst both these sides. This was the outcome. Price exploded to the upside and managed to sweep both liquidity points and managed to hit target. And how was this being able to help me? For me, I was looking at shorts on EURUSD. After price created a bit of a stop run above this significant level, the structure of price managed to accumulate. So we managed to accumulate within this particular zone. We'll literally play in a key level of dynamic resistance and support. This was a down candle prior to the up move. Price dipped into the zone, constant reaction, created a swing low fractal, dipped into the last bullish candle prior to the down move, dipped into it, rejected, came back into this block, dipped into the block, rejected straight all the way back down, creating a new lower low, structural lower low in price, MS break to the downside, closing below the liquidity low, hence why price managed to sell off towards the downside. When price came back into this weekly level, the reason why this is actually a weekly level, but the reason it's a daily OB, this last bullish candle pushed price lower, this key supply zone of price. After price came into EQ the block, I didn't get tagged in for that significant trade, but after it raided that significant high, price managed to accumulate amongst that significant level right before the initial sell-off. Price managed to MS break towards the upside, so people actually genuinely thought we could see potential longs from a significant level. And this was the down candle prior to the up move. This is what created and formulated the move towards the upside. I took another position from the last bullish candle push price lower after we closed below the liquidity low, below the significant low. Retested our particular pivot zone, a price found resistance, support, broken below, retested support, managed to find resistance, and managed to take out these two liquidity zones. So my first targets were 1.0510 and the liquidity weekly low 1.10265. So we managed to sell off towards the downside. This was the end result. Price managed to aggressively formulate a very aggressive move towards the downside, and our targets were hit. If I was going to go onto the chart on EURUSD, you could easily see the reasons why price formulated that significant move. If you look at the order flow and structure of price, where liquidity is, for example, you're looking at price structure in terms of order flow. So if you're going to be looking at order flow, you want to consider the factors which delineate order flow, which is lower highs, lower lows, looking at a particular structure of levels, and also understanding the flow of price and where the smart money is, and also understanding where do banks push these particular moves in towards. So price managed to create a little minor lower low, manages to pull back, creating a lower high, formulates a new lower low. Price managed to create a low high, and then now we have an aggressive lower low. So as you can see, this was the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. We managed to have an MS break towards the downside where we had a liquidity low. Closed below that liquidity low, created a new lower low of price. So that structured lower low in price and that MS break on price, where you have a market structure break towards the downside, 1.11070. So we closed below that significant level, retested the zone. This is the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. It dipped into that particular zone. I want to mark out the monthly open. So 1.10756. 1.10750. So that's where the monthly open is. After price created that significant lower low, it came into the monthly block. And where did I mark out? This weekly supply zone. We have this down candle prior to the up move. We have this up candle prior to the down move. So I marked out this little minor breaker. And I also marked out this daily OOB, this weekly key supply zone of price. So after we had a new formulated lower low, we created a swing high fractal back into that significant level. I marked out the EQ of the significant block where price found support, resistance, support. So the 1.12500 was the level I wanted to get tagged, but spread didn't fill me in. However, as you can see, price dipped into that particular price zone, and I went down to the daily just to scale in. And as you can see, we managed to formulate a new lower low in price where we had an MS break towards the downside, closed below this liquidity low at 1.11940. And we managed to retest this particular zone. This is the last bullish candle before price ran in them significant lows. Price dipped into that key level. So as price dipped into that key level, we accumulated in price. I waited and waited and waited. I was a bit skeptical in price of this down candle prior to the up move. This was psychologically, this was a very, very testing trade. Reason why I'd say this liquidity low is my ultimate target, by the way. And I was going to say this is where price was testing. And the reason why I'd say this is because it's very, very interesting. This was a down candle prior to the up move. We've MS break towards the upside. That's what a lot of people are believing. And it's very, very easy to feed into other people's understanding of price. So as you can see, price managed to, for example, reject that significant zone. So I held price all the way down towards the monthly open. I was expecting further shorts. I was expecting further shorts for the liquidity to be taken at a significant level. For price found key support, and it managed to raid this accumulation of price and raid these significant lows. So after price raided all these significant lows and expanded towards the upside, this was the last bullish candle to push price lower. I marked out the daily block. So as we marked out the daily block, I knew price raided a significant daily high. So the daily high of 1.11530, after that was taken, I scaled down to the lower time frame because I had an MS break after price closed below this doji candle, below the significant low of 1.116680. Sent this out as a signal as well, actually, to my group. So after we raided that significant level, I wanted a raid of this liquidity intraday high of the liquidity right into the daily supply zone. So after we raided that significant high of price, dipped into that level and managed to fill in a liquidity void in the H4. So after we managed to do that, we managed to fill in price and carried on and expanded towards the downside. 1110 was my ultimate target. I was gunning for 1110 and we managed to hit that to perfection. I was very, very happy with that trade, especially with the risk to reward, and I'm quite glad everybody caught it. At the moment, I probably should have held it, but that's all down to hindsight. Sometimes you've got to be happy with the profits that you make in the market. But that was the reasoning on why I actually took those particular shorts. So you can even witness the before and afters of price of why I've taken these significant trades. Hence why the DXY managed to round them significant highs and managed to expand up to the upside. And as you can see, the previous analysis of the pivot level of price and expecting the liquidity lows to get completely taken and managed to sell it off towards the downside. So I'm quite glad you guys watched this weekly read. I'm quite glad that obviously you guys managed to witness this weekly recap. I'm sorry I haven't been posting much. I've been very, very busy with other elements of life. I'm going to try my best to be able to keep dropping further weekly recaps throughout the winter period. Considering the fact that we're heading into autumn and winter markets, we should be able to get more effective setups in comparison to summer, which wasn't the best of summers, to be honest with you. And I probably should have taken a bit of time off. But hope you guys found this video insightful. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you have a brilliant week in the markets. And like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys have any interest in, for example, shooting me a DM and I'll answer any of the questions that you may have in regards to the markets.